Welcome to Relax Retro Talk, episode 40.
40,
The big
40.
40.
It's really funny because you were like, we're not live. And I was like, what? We're not? Oh, never mind. We're good.
Yeah, I always say we're live because I start all my streams that we are live. Like, hey, welcome to the grind. All that stuff, right? And so I always think like we're live, but we're not live. This is all recorded. Today we are 40th episode, which is crazy to think about, really. And then we are talking about growing up with the PSP, the old PlayStation Portable. I got my 3000 model right here.
So what's the difference between that model and like the launch model? Did they change it at all?
Good question.
Or is it just silver? Or is it just silver?
It's definitely silver. This one had. I remember you could use like Skype and shit on this one, and that's why I wanted this
calls
one.
And stuff.
I don't know if they all had the microphone. This one has the microphone. There's certain things that aren't compatible with the older ones that are with this or something. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. All I knew was that I wanted the 3000 because I knew how to hack the 3000, and I didn't know how to hack the other ones. I played a lot of Final Fantasy IV Game Boy Advance edition on the old PSP 3000.
I'm looking at a picture of the PSP 1000.
Yeah, it's big. The 1000's bigger.
It looks bigger. I was going to say, it looks like it's got a larger footprint. It says the shoulder buttons are on top, the directional pad on the left with the analog nub directly below it. PlayStation face buttons on the right and a row of secondary buttons below the screen. So I think for the most part, it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's just bigger. It's black.
It says that the PSP 2000 was the first redesign. They made it slimmer and lighter. There was a serial port. It was modified to accommodate a new video out feature.
Oh yeah, okay. So I didn't know that wasn't in the original because this you can hook like component cables up to this.
Yeah. And it says on the PSP 2000, games only output to external monitors and televisions in progressive scan mode. USB charging was introduced, and the D-pad was raised in response to complaints of poor performance. And as well, the responsiveness of the buttons were improved. They improved the Wi-Fi. They put a better LCD screen in. They doubled the RAM from 32 meg to 64 meg, and they improved the web browser's performance. Keep in mind, we're talking about 2007, so mobile internet on a handheld device is not commonplace at this point.
No, I mean, the PSP was super, super ahead of its time. What's the difference between the 3000 then? And
so the 3000, when you get, those are the differences to the 2000. When you get to the 3000, it was referred to in the PAL areas as the PSP Slim and Light, or the PSP Bright, because they improved the LCD screen again with 5 times the contrast ratio and a halved pixel response time. So quite a pretty decent boost to the screen.
Like, dude, the screen on this thing is so good, especially like for the time, and like even now you play PSP games on here and like they look good.
So, and it looks like they introduced anti-reflective technology to reduce outdoor glare, because I was going to say the one that I saw was a 1000, and that thing was like, the guy had it in the break room. Yeah, he played it in the break room at the Staples that I worked at.
Yeah, and that's where I played mine most of the time.
No, really?
In a break room at Staples.
There it is. It's the Staples device, apparently.
It's the Staples staple.
I remember the fluorescent lights reflected off the screen so bad that he was like,
really?
With it. It says the disc tray, the logos, and the buttons were all redesigned, and a microphone was added. So the microphone was
so that's why I wanted the 3000, because of the microphone. So picture this, guys. When about did you say this came out? 2009.
So the 3000 was released October 14th, 2008. But the original device launched in North America March 2005. So 3.5 years later.
So I want to talk about like when I first got the PSP, or why I got a PSP first. But then I want to get into kind of my first time playing a PSP, which was the 1000, like the original.
Sure.
So I did not have a cell phone for like ever, as you know, like you pretty much know this story.
Yep.
But because like, so I had a cell phone, but it was a hand-me-down from my stepbrother, and it was a piece of shit. Like phones were shit back then.
Phones weren't great back then. Yeah.
You got no service unless you were like in a major city. Like your cell phone, your service was so bad. I remember I was driving home because I lived in a small town. Like I grew up, me and DG, or I guess this way, in the post. Me and DG, we grew up in a small town, and I ended up I was working in a neighboring small town. It was about 20 minutes away, and so my mom was like, "You need a cell phone just in case something happens." It's like, dude, it's 20 minutes. I could walk if I had to.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be good, but I could do it. So she gave me, I got my stepbrother's hand-me-down shitty cell phone. It was like either a Motorola or a Nokia, those ones that are just fucking rounded and navy blue. You know what I'm talking about. The buttons have that give to them, that feel.
Yeah, you got that click when you're playing Snake. It's like,
yeah. They push in and then all of a sudden, bloop, it's like a popping click, kind of.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had that, and then I remember I'd almost never used it. And I used it one day. I was driving home from work, and I like had to make a call, and it was like literally the entire call was, "Can you hear me? How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now?"
It was that commercial,
dude. I just fucking rolled down the window and fucking I just hucked the phone out the window. I was like, "What a piece of garbage!" And so I never had a cell phone. I literally didn't buy a cell phone until probably like, I don't know, like 2013 or something. Like it was a long time. So when the PSP 3000 announced that it was going to have a microphone, it was going to be able to connect to Wi-Fi, as well as the weird ad hoc thing that everything was doing at the time. I remember that we had that too. I don't know. I bought the thing and it never worked.
Yeah.
But they announced that it was going to have all that. They announced that there was going to be like Skype on it. You could get Skype, you get the web browser, you get all kinds of like apps and stuff. I was like, I'll get it, because then I'll use that as my cell phone, because for a long time I actually like paid for Skype. Like I had like, you get like a digital phone number, right?
Yeah, it was a voice over IP phone.
Yeah. And we would basically do like a lot of prank calls with it, to be completely honest.
I have a couple of those prank calls still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Because me and your younger brother used to do a podcast, which we did a whole episode on it here on Relax Retro Talk, called the Late Night Reach Around with Bubs and Dookie.
Yep.
And there was like a segment where we would do like prank calls and stuff. But anyways, I remember we would always be like talking and stuff, like while playing video games and stuff, and you guys would all be like on your computers with your headsets and shit, and I talking on this, and I just remember everybody like, "Dookie, you sound like you're inside of a bag of chips."
It was so bad. It was so bad. But I mean, all things considered, given the time, like there really wasn't other things like it, right? Like what you were doing was what like you were doing a Discord call 20 years before Discord kind of thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's pretty crazy to think about like that.
It is
that
crazy.
Using it like a
and
phone.
And that's why I wanted to get into like my actual like first experience with the PSP as well, because my first experience was with the 1000 model, and it was my buddy Paul. Actually, it was when me and Paul moved in. We lived together for a while, and he had a PSP. It was actually, I think it was right when we moved in together. He got a PSP. And it was, because that would have been about like 2005, I think, right? Was the year you said it came out. And we moved in together, and I just remember the only game he had, I think it was called Rengoku.
Okay.
And I didn't like the game. It wasn't my kind of a game, but I remember firing it up. And keep in mind, like 2005, I don't know if the PS3 was out yet or if it was like announced. But it was, PS2 was in its prime still at this point. And it blew my mind because the PSP looked almost as good as PS2 graphics, and it was on a handheld. And keep in mind, like the DS kind of looked like garbage, right? Like graphically, it looked like an N64, basically, right? Like a little less almost than an N64.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than the Advance, but I mean, they did good with what they had, but it was pixely almost. Everything was very like pixely almost.
Yeah, and even like the polygonal games,
like it wasn't super like the things weren't like polygonal all the time. There was a lot of good games, but yeah.
Visually though, like the 2D games looked pretty good.
Then that's
but when you got to like
at.
the 3D games, they looked pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
They had that N64 kind of look.
Yeah.
And then and that was like our expectations of handheld games at that time period.
Handheld games were always worse than console.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Like quite a
bit worse.
It was like playing the Super Nintendo and then playing the Game Boy. Not the Game Boy Advance, the Game Boy. Right?
Yeah.
Then when
it'd be like the GameCube to the Super Nintendo.
Exactly.
Right?
Like it was always like quite a step back.
So that was what we were used to, right? And I was expecting PS1 graphics on the PSP.
Yeah.
Is what I was expecting. Like maybe less even, right? And then I remember playing Rengoku, and I was like, dude, this almost looks like PS2 graphics. And the PS2 is what was like the prime console at the time. Like I was super blown away and impressed by the graphical capabilities, and everything was like super smooth. And this was like a launch title, I'm pretty sure. Like I don't know if Rengoku was a launch title, but it would have been within the first year.
Right.
And so like if you look back at a console, like look at the NES, you look at like fucking not Super Mario Brothers, but Mario Brothers, compared to like fucking Mega Man 6 or Power Blade or something like that. Like it's night and day what a console looks like at the beginning of its life. Totally. Like what the possibilities are at the beginning of its life, and then again at the end of its life frame or whatever. The PSP looked that good right out of the fucking gate.
Yeah,
that was crazy to me.
A lot of the games that I saw, and I mean, and I'll preface it by I've only had my hands on PSP a couple times. Friends have owned them. I've never owned one myself. But apparently there was a God of War game that was released for it, and it's supposed to be like the flagship game for the PSP.
Oh yeah, I never played it, but yeah, there was one or two God of War games.
Like there's one of them that's supposed to be like just like phenomenal, like
Chains of Olympus or something.
I think that was the one. Yeah. Where basically the graphics, like the PSP's graphics capabilities are immediately put on display with that game, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think that they were able to pull that off using those little UMDs, right? Because that was those little discs, the disc cartridge, right?
Yeah.
And then that same friend had movies, because that was the other thing about the PSP is that it was not only just games, but it was movies on the go as well. And he was like, "Look at this! It's Fast and the Furious or something like that."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, here, watch this," and it worked fine. It wasn't like great DVD quality by any means, but it definitely was good.
Yeah, it was good. Like especially for the small screen, it looked good. It looked great. One thing that always kind of threw me off about the PSP, because I played a lot of the games, like most of the games on the PSP, like on the screen, but I also played a lot of them on my TV because it's got like the component out. And I would play them on my TV, but it's such a weird aspect ratio. Like it's super wide, right?
Yeah, it's an interesting widescreen format, right?
Yeah. And like when you're playing it on the PSP, everything looks great, but then you play that on your TV and it's got like a weird black border around everything, right? Because of the
it says it's a 480 by 272 pixel display, which is it's an interesting choice. It definitely made it stand out, right? The other thing that I knew about the PSP is that it needed the special Sony memory sticks, because we used to sell them at State
the UMDs. I think
they were the most expensive memory cards that you could buy.
The UMD was the game.
UMD was the game. It's a memory stick.
Pro Duo was the memory stick. Pro Duo was
And so the memory stick, it was memory stick, SD, XD, and compact flash. Those were the cards that I was selling when I worked there. and the memory stick was by and large way more expensive than the rest.
I
remember being like, who's gonna buy this, right? And quite a few people came in, but they bought them specifically
just for the PSP,
their PSP,
or like a Sony digital camera,
the Sony digital cameras. But we usually didn't sell them because being a scummy Staples salesperson, I'd be like, well, you can get the Sony, but you're going to spend more money on the memory, so you might want to get the Canon.
But yeah, so when I got it, I didn't get it for quite a few years after, because I got the 3000, which was what you said, about 3 years after.
Yeah, 2008.
And the reason I got it was because of this game right here, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
Ooh.
So Peace Walker was being touted as Metal Gear Solid 5 at the time. They didn't, like, Metal Gear Solid 5 was, nobody had a clue what Metal Gear 5 was or was going to be. So Peace Walker essentially was Metal Gear Solid 5, and it is a direct sequel to Metal Gear Solid 3, which is, like, a lot of people consider it to be the greatest game of all time.
Right.
Like, it's a really fucking good game. And as soon as they were like, Peace Walker exclusive on the PSP, I was like, okay, I got to get that. And then I was gonna order, because you can get, there was like the Peace Walker PSP, and it was like a special edition, greenish color, and it came with Peace Walker. And then I was like, wait a minute, they had this bundle on, I think it was like, I don't know if it was on clearance or just on sale, but it was the 3000, and it came with, this is what you get when you fucking get it with the console. You get like these shitty little cardboard box versions. But it had Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. And this was like when Ratchet and Clank was peak. I think it still is. I just haven't played the new one. But anyways, it came with this and National Treasure 2, I want to say. Maybe it was the first one, but probably 2. So you got a free game and a movie, and it was cheaper to just buy the PSP that way and then buy Peace Walker separate.
For sure. Yeah, you got the PSP, Ratchet and Clank, and the opportunity to steal the Declaration of Independence.
Exactly. all for a lower price than if I were to buy just the Peace Walker PSP, right?
Yeah, this makes total sense to me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I remember, dude, so like, you know, when you get a new console and you're just like, you just play whatever shitty games you can get your hands on, like,
of course.
So I played that. Like, not that Size Matter is shit. It's not good. It wasn't
your favorite. There was another game that apparently was good. It was a Clank game, though. It wasn't Ratchet and
Secret Agent Clank.
Yeah.
I don't have that one.
Apparently that one was supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it was supposed to be good. Size Matters was like, it controlled bad because a lot of the 3D games on the PSP, because you could either have the camera controls and your movement as the joy nub, but then you don't have like an R2 and an L2, right? I feel like all they would have had to do was put like 2 little buttons back here to like,
and then you would have been okay.
Yeah, but there's
that joystick is not good.
It's not. You know what? You get used to the joystick. It's more not having an R2 and L2. Like, Peace Walker was kind of a nightmare to play on the PSP because in order to I don't even remember how they did it. You had to hold like a D-pad button and then tap L or R in order to open your like weapon and item menu, because that was always buttons. Like R2 and L2, right? Yeah. So it was kind of a nightmare to play. Eventually they did release Peace Walker. They did an HD remake on the PS3, and it was, dude, that I didn't beat it on the PSP because it was kind of jank, but it's one of my favorite games. It's probably my favorite Metal Gear game, honestly. It was so fucking good, and you could play it up to 4-player co-op.
Oh, really? Like, when you're putting it out to a TV, or how do you play co-op on a PSP?
Well, the PSP had local co-op.
Like wireless co-op?
Yeah. I don't know if you could do online as well. Probably, honestly.
That makes sense.
Then I think in the PS3 version you can do online
Very
co-op.
Cool. So I have a list of the launch titles, and I got to tell you, I'm really impressed.
Is Wipeout one of them, and Rengoku?
I don't see either. Oh, Wipeout Pure. Yes, Wipeout Pure.
I remember Wipeout.
This is a bit shocking. I had no idea. There was 1,370 games released for the PSP during its 10-year lifespan. Like that's nuts. Over
That's similar
1,000,
to like the Saturn, I want to say.
1,300 games. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
The launch games for the PSP included Ape Escape on the Loose.
Oh yeah, of course.
Darkstalkers Chronicle: The Chaos Tower.
I kind of remember that one too. Actually.
Dynasty Warriors.
That would have been awful to play on the
Dynasty
PSP.
Warriors would have been really hard with that. Yeah. Lumens.
That was super popular.
Was that a puzzle game?
Lumens games were super popular.
Was Lumens a puzzle game?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a lot of these games.
Lumens and like Patapon were like PSP exclusives that were like huge.
Patapon is one that I've always wanted to play.
It's on the. They're bringing it to like the Switch and Switch 2, I think now.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I feel like because the like PlayStation doesn't have a portable anymore, I feel like Patapon is like at home on the Switch, honestly. Like yeah.
Metal Gear Acid.
Yeah, I've wanted to play those, but they're like tactical RPGs in an alternate universe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do want to play them really bad though.
Need for Speed Underground Rivals, which I mean that's peak 2000 and was this 2004 whatever, 2006 or whatever. Yeah, that's peak. Oh
yeah,
that era's and Need for Speed and stealing cars and street racing. NFL Street 2. That's really the street games were a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's like NBA Street Volume 2.
I like the Street. Those NFL Street especially.
That's what I mean. Like you had like essentially PS2 games on the freaking PSP.
Yeah. Ridge Racer was also released. Spider-Man 2, which I think was also really fun.
That was the super popular PS2 one. I never played it. I think your younger brother played the shit out of it.
I want to say I checked it out too, and I remember it being good. Tiger Woods PGA Tour, not sports game. Tony Hawk's Underground 2 remix. Twisted Metal Head On. Untold Legends Brotherhood of the Blade.
Never fucking
heard of that one. Wipeout Pure and World Tour Soccer Challenge Edition. Additionally, Gretzky NHL and NBA were North America exclusive launch titles.
Like that's a lot of launch titles.
That's a good launch
and a good spread too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of games there. I think
a lot of genres too, like different genres and.
The best-selling PSP game with a whopping 7.5 million copies sold. Any idea?
Patapon?
Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories.
Oh, really?
7.5 million copies of that game were sold. That's crazy. I like that.
I heard it was good.
Yep. Other top-selling PSP games, Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. So
yeah, that one I have heard of.
Would have made sense, right? Monster Hunter Portable 3rd. Monster Hunter. It's crazy that Monster Hunter's still going.
Yeah, right? Dude.
Gran Turismo and Monster Hunter Freedom Unite.
Wow.
2 Monster Hunter games. Retro City Rampage DX, which was released in July 2016, was the final PSP game that was released. And God of War Ghost of Sparta, Vice City Stories, Daxter, and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker are the best rated PSP games according to Metacritic.
Peace Walker's so good.
And Peace Walker is the only PSP game to ever receive a perfect score from Famitsu.
Really?
So the only
dude, it's
PSP
the best
game.
Metal Gear game in my opinion.
Yeah, the only PSP game to get a perfect score. So that's pretty high praise, I think.
It could play better, and it did when they put it on the PS3 with proper controls, but it was a hell of a good game. They also did Portable Ops, which came out before Peace Walker, but not nearly as good. Not nearly as good. Yeah. Wasn't a big fan, honestly, of Portable Ops. I don't think I beat it, and I've beaten like every Metal Gear game. What else did I got? Like, there's so many.
It had a PlayStation Store, right? Like,
yes, so it connected to the same PlayStation Store that the PS3 did, and you could download PS1 games on it.
That's really cool.
Yes, so I had like all the Spyro games. I had Crash Bandicoot. I had Street Fighter Alpha, which is my favorite Street Fighter game. I would play the shit out of that.
Sure.
But PS1 games almost played better than some of the PSP games because the PS1 didn't really I don't know. They didn't really have the controls modernized to where you're using the R1 and the R2 L1 and L2 all the time like they did on the PS2, right? So you could kind of get away with not having those and still having like a good gameplay experience. But yeah, I played a lot of PS1 games on here, like a shitload, right? And the nice thing is you just plug it into there's like a little USB thing. You just plug it right into your PS3. You can download them that way, or I think you could download them manually, but I don't think so because I remember always having to plug it into my PS3 to get the games that way, like the PS1 games. So that was freaking awesome. I do remember one of my early memories with the PSP was literally because it was like when I got it brand new and I got home. I played some Peace Walker. I ended up playing Ratchet and Clank like after I beat Peace Walker, and it like the Size Matters one. It wasn't that good, but I just remember laying in bed. My wife's like sleeping. She has like finals, like she's in college at this time, and I'm watching National Treasure 2 on my PSP.
You're like, bed. She's like trying to sleep, and you're like, I wonder if they're gonna get the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, dude. And I never saw National Treasure 1, so
I mean, you know. I don't think you're missing too much there.
Damn movie, but yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. It wasn't the best movie.
But it was bundled in, and that makes it fine.
Exactly, right? Exactly. When you mentioned playing it or with a coworker or seeing a coworker play it at Staples all the time, that was literally when I got most of my play time because I used to work like overnight. I'd start at I'd start at midnight and I would work until like 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m. or something like that. Yes. And so when on our breaks, or if we got everything done or our break, I would just play a PSP for like if we got everything done, because literally all we're doing is like stocking the shelves, right?
Sure.
If all the shelves are stocked at like 5 a.m, I would just play PSP for like the last 3.5 or 3 hours of my shift, right? So I would play so much PSP at that like back then. And it was like, it's similar to the Genesis where like, it's not that the batteries are bad here, but if I'm playing it like 3 hours a night every night and don't get a chance, like I kept it in my locker all the time, the battery probably would have died. But it's nice because I don't have to bring a TV and a console, and I can still have this plugged in at all times when I'm playing it, right? And still do it as a portable, even though it's plugged in. Some of the PSP games, I want to see if I got. So this was like the first one I bought after Peace Walker, and it was Space Invaders Extreme, and it's super fun, man. It's like flashy techno ravey Space Invaders, and the music's great. The gameplay is great. There is a versus mode. I haven't played any multiplayer games on the PSP. Like I've never even tried doing it, but it was the 30th anniversary of Space Invaders, and it was super fun, man. It was like one of the funnest arcade style games I played. Anyways, it was an absolute blast. I got it for like, I think it was in like a bargain bin for like $5, and I was like,
those are some of the best games are the ones that cost next to nothing because there's no entry fee. Like that $5,
and your expectations are so low, right?
Like even if the game's terrible, it was $5, but there's a pretty good chance that you're gonna play it and find something fun about it, right?
Yeah, like, dude. It was a very pleasant. I was very pleasantly surprised. And then I ended up getting. It's called Half Minute Hero, and it kind of makes fun.
I've seen that game. Yeah. I've seen that one. That's the one with the timer, right?
Yep. There's a timer at all times, but each game, it's like a million games in one. But each game, or I don't know if it's a million games, but there's like a million like stories, and each segment is you have 30 seconds to save the world is like the tagline,
right?
But you can do little things that extend the timer. And then you keep getting stronger so that each time you come through, you're like, you can get to like the next thing. And like the story ended up being like pretty decent actually. Cool. And then there's like 4 different ways of play because there's like, you've got the hero, you've got the, there's like an archer. I think it's the princess is an archer and it becomes like a twin stick shooter kind of thing.
Okay.
And then there's there's like an escort mission mode. And then there's like the strategy mode where you play as like a necromancer and you summon like your honestly, that game Vampire Survivor, I feel like is like basically like
I was gonna say this sounds
inspired
kind
by
of like
this
one of
kind
those
of.
Vampire Survivor type games mixed with
Yeah,
some
yeah, it was
roguelite.
good. The story ended up being good. Like it starts off just like a goofy, like make fun of like classic JRPGs,
Sure.
and then it ends up being like actually like really good by the end. And it's funny because it's called like Half Minute Hero. So it's good to play like on your break, right? Like you can
Yeah.
sit down, you
They
can
were just quick
crush
games.
through a few stages or whatever you want to call them,
Nice.
and then go back to work. But the game length is actually like the whole story is probably like fucking 15 hours. Like it's an actual like good game at the end of the day. Um, Speaking of twin stick shooters, I don't have, because it was a digital only game, but another PSP game I played the shit out of. It was called Age of Zombies. I have it on my PS3 as well.
Okay.
And you play as Barry Steak Fries, and he's basically if you took like Kurt Russell, Bruce Campbell, like all those guys, right, and made him into like a little video game character. It's a twin stick shooter. You go through time and you're killing zombies, and he's just doing like all these like catchphrases and stuff. And it was a super fun game. And like the story's like barely there, but it's I don't know. It was a blast. And then I played it on the PS3 as well. Apparently, so the character, the first game he was in, there's like some jetpack mobile game where you just keep the guy hovering.
Jetpack Joyride.
Yeah, that's the first game. The Age of Zombies is the sequel to that.
Okay, because his name is Barry.
Yeah, Barry Steak Fries. Yeah, that's the guy. So yeah, that I've never played the jetpack one, but I played the shit out of Age of Zombies.
No kidding. Some of the games for PSP, Crisis Core was the game that was, if I was gonna get a PSP, it was gonna be for Crisis Core. And I remember being so mad that they locked it to PSP, and I was like, I'm not buying a PSP for that game, that's not fair. And then this little voice is like, but you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, you should buy it.
You're not a true fan if you don't play them all.
Man, I wanted to play that game so bad, and I finally did, but I played it this year, right?
Yeah, you played the remaster.
The remaster, yeah. Like it's insane. I was very upset that I couldn't play. And that guy that had it in the break room, he had Crisis Core and he showed it to me, and I was like, I hate you so bad right now.
But how good is Crisis Core?
It was very good. Yeah, it was. I was very surprised at how good that game was. Yeah,
I think the only things that that hold it back for me, like I prefer Crisis Core over the original Final Fantasy VII, but I'm not like the biggest Final Fantasy VII guy, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The only things for me that could have made that game better was to have like actual world map traversal, right?
Right. Yeah, it was very linear. Yeah,
but this was you were already at like Final Fantasy X had already been out, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't really have world traversal.
At this point in the game, 12 is already out, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've already gone 11 with the MMO and 12.
Yeah.
Right. 12 was MMO-esque kind of.
Yeah.
Right?
So Final Fantasy was already, this was like where Final Fantasy was already not set as what Final Fantasy is anymore.
Yeah, it was changing. Dissidia 012 also on PSP.
Duodecim, yeah.
Is that what it's called? Duodecim?
Yeah. I have the original Dissidia. It's actually on my shelf because I have like a Final Fantasy section on my shelf.
Sure.
I have the original Dissidia, and it was really fucking good. I got to play Dissidia Duodecim, though, because apparently it retells the story of Dissidia and then adds like a bunch of after story and stuff and adds more characters.
Never heard of Dissidia at all up to
I'm glad you brought it up because I would have completely forgot about the Dissidia games. Yeah. They were really good. They kind of played like so they're like a fighting game, like a Final Fantasy fighting game.
Okay.
But they played more like, have you ever played any of like the Gundam versus games?
Yep.
Or you remember like Dragon Ball Z Battle of Z?
Yep.
They play kind of like that. Like they're pretty fucking good. And then NT came out and everybody hated it, but I kind of liked it. But I don't know. I liked it because you got to see a lot of your favorite characters in like more modern graphics. Sure. And the story was actually pretty damn good. The combat was weird until you got used to it, and then it was like pretty fucking sweet. But yeah, those games were good.
And
Final Fantasy was still kind of on top of the world at that time.
Final
right?
Fantasy was kicking on the PSP because there was also the remake of Tactics at this point, War of the Lions.
Oh yeah, War of the Lions. Well, and then you got Final Fantasy 1 and 2 got re-released on there.
Yep.
Final Fantasy 4, I think Final Fantasy 3, like the DS version, got re-released on there. 4 had all of 4 plus the after years included as well.
Oh, really?
So that was kind of like the best way to play the after years at that time.
There was quite a few games that if they weren't JRPGs, they were JRPG adjacent. Persona 3.
Oh yeah, Persona 3 portable version. Yeah.
And then Kingdom Hearts, obviously. There
was a Kingdom Hearts spin-off on there.
Wherever that lands in the timeline of it.
Yeah.
I just looking at a list here. East 7 is out there too.
Oh, dude, all the good East games are on there. Because that's the next
quite a few East games.
Yeah, well, and then a lot of them got like remastered on like the PS4 and stuff. So I'm going to be playing like a remaster of East 4 on the PS4 or 5 is the next one I'm going to be playing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the East games, a lot of the Legend of Heroes series all went to the PSP. I think the first Trails of Cold Steel or whatever maybe were on there. I can't remember.
Was Valkyria Chronicles also an RPG?
Yes. So here's what was fucky about Valkyria Chronicles. So the first one was on the PS3, I want to say.
Okay.
And it was like, so have you ever seen Valkyria Chronicles?
No idea.
So Valkyria Chronicles is a tactical RPG, but instead of it being like on a grid, when it's that character's turn, it turns into like a third person shooter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then, like in a tactical RPG, you have so many spaces you can move. You have a certain distance you can like run, and then you have to select. You can either shoot, you can take cover, you can throw grenades. Like it was a good fucking game.
No kidding.
It got really, really hard really early on. There's a battle when you face off against the first. I think it's like a Valkyrie. Okay. She's got like this big drill spear, and like I could not beat that mission for the life of me.
No kidding.
So I could get like 4 missions in and then could not get any further. But
sorry, go ahead.
But Valkyria Chronicles started on the PS3, and then I think the second and third main Valkyria Chronicles game were both on the PSP. Okay. And then 4 was on the PS4. So it was like super weird. Usually when you see that happen, it's like between consoles. Like you would see like, I don't know, like Ogre Battle was on like the PS the PS1 and the Super NES, but then they also had an entry on the GBA. But you didn't really see that usually on like the same console, like where it would be like the first game is on the PS3 and then the 2 sequels are on the PSP.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Like you'd see spin-offs usually, but not like direct sequels.
A couple of the other games on this list, have you ever heard of one called Jeanne d'Arc?
Oh, that's supposed to be really good, dude. So that's another tactical RPG.
Yeah.
I've never played it, but I heard that one's really good. I think it's the same guy that did like Final Fantasy Tactics, the Tactics Ogre games. I think it's the same dude.
Yeah, it's called an SRPG or strategy. That's what it's
Yeah. I always call them tactical RPGs because I always played like Tactics Ogre.
Final everyone's calling it a tactical RPG on the page here too. So I had never heard of it before. It's one of the best rated games.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good.
Apparently, there's also a Tactics Ogre game too.
I think it was just a remake though of the
Let Us
PS1
Cling
game
Together,
or something.
it's called, or something like that.
What was it called?
Let Us Cling Together.
Oh yeah, that's a remake of the PS1.
Okay,
I think, yeah.
Disgaea.
Disgaea, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, Afternoon of Darkness. There was a lot of like RPG. If they weren't like full-fledged RPGs, they were like
tactical
RPG adjacent. It almost feels like a lot of the creators were like kind of taking their chances with like they're like, here's the title on the main system on the PS3, and then on the PSP, here's one. We had this cool idea that we don't want to put into a PS3 game, but we do want to put it over here onto the PSP.
Yeah,
right.
Well, because keep in mind, like the PS3 was when like gaming budgets started shooting up real high, right?
Yeah.
Like PS2, people were willing to do like goofball games like Ape Escape and like shit like that. But when the PS3 came out, like developers like a lot of those developers that made those goofy games, they were like, okay, like nobody's gonna buy our goofy stuff because they're gonna be buying like Uncharted, God
they
of
want these
War,
big
like
budget,
more high budget,
the big
serious.
budget AAA type games, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but some of the other games I grabbed, I got Parappa the Rapper, of course.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
classic. I was
this
really
one.
bad. I'm really bad at that game.
So am I. I can get
Exceptionally bad
pretty
at that.
far in this one, but there was one. There's like a sequel to it called Jammer Lammy. Well, I guess there's Parappa the Rapper 2, which I've never played, but
Yep.
but there's Jammer Lammy, which is like kind of a spin-off, I suppose.
Sure.
And I can't even beat the first level, man. I can't. I literally can't.
The timing was always weird for me. It's not that it's not working. It's that I can't understand how to line it up properly. And I'm sure if I played it enough and I got the hang of it, that all of a sudden it would just kind of pick up and away we go.
Yeah, it is a timing thing for sure. Like it's a weird timing because I've played like. I mean, we used to play like O2 Jam back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And like I've played rhythm games where I haven't had a problem, but yeah, there is a weird timing thing with the Parappa the Rapper games. Another one I grabbed was Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles. So this was the only way to play Rondo of Blood in North America. This it comes with like a remake of the original Castlevania.
Oh, okay.
With like kind of Symphony of the Night style graphics.
Wow, okay.
And then it also has Symphony of the Night on here.
And then
it also has Rondo of Blood.
That's a good combo. See, the thing is, so I bought on the PS4, I bought the combo pack that has Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
But it didn't have the Castlevania 1 upgrade in there. You would have thought that they would have kept that in as like the package, right?
Yeah, I think they packed that in because they did a Castlevania collection of like all the classic ones, and I think they threw that in there instead. But yeah, this was my first time playing Rondo, and I really, really liked it. I think this was my first time playing Symphony of the Night as well.
Okay.
And they did a really good job. I thought like it's crazy I got like basically a main console experience with the PSP, which is
for sure. Cool. Yeah.
And then this was so I played a lot of like the Gundam Versus games on the PS2.
Yep.
And then the PSP got Gundam Versus Gundam Next Plus, and it was really good. This came out around the same time as like when Unicorn Gundam was coming out and Double O Gundam and all that. So it was a good time because I was so used to just playing like the PS2 Gundam games, and it was all like Universal Century, like Xeon versus Federation, and then like the Ayugs and Titan and stuff. But this one was the first one that really had like you could have like Wing Zero versus like the Double O Gundam,
right?
And like like it mixed all the universes and stuff, right?
Was that a Japan only title?
It was, yeah.
Okay.
The other nice thing, the PSP was not region locked,
That's
right?
good.
So I could just import whatever.
Apparently, with new consoles, we're rolling back to that territory again.
Nintendo.
There's another game here I found called The Legend of Heroes: Trails in the Sky.
Yeah. So the Legend of Heroes series is a very, very popular series made by Falcom. It's the same company that makes the East games.
Okay.
I played the first one. Like I'm kind of anal. I always have to play the first game in the series and play them in order.
Yeah.
So I played the first one, which the version I played was on the TurboGrafx CD.
Oh, that far back.
And it was actually like way better than I thought it was going to be because I thought it was going to be kind of like just kind of trashy. The voice acting was hilariously bad. It would be like if me and you like back in high school were handed the script and just read it and they were like sound medievally. It was like,
no, don't go in the room, verily.
I'm the most powerful wizard of the land. It's like not an exaggeration of how the voice acting is in that game.
That's hilarious.
And it made me like it even more, to be completely honest.
There's something charming about, like, look, if you're gonna have low budget voiceovers, lean into it.
Oh yeah,
Like
dude.
if you lean into it, there's something charming about that. It's where it's like it's right in the middle. That's where people are like, oh, the voice acting.
Yeah.
Like
When you know they're trying their hardest and it
yeah,
still
that
sucks.
was really the drawback in the Crisis Core remake. Was that I didn't
Right.
like the voice
The
for
new
Zack.
voice
It
actors.
didn't match. The
No,
rest
they
of the voice
didn't.
acting was okay, but
Um, the cool thing about that game too. So the Legend of Heroes series is actually a spin-off of Dragon Slayer, and
no.
the Legend of Heroes series spawned the Trails series, which spawned the Cold Steel series. Like
Oh
there's
wow.
so many like offshoot series from each other, but another thing I loved about like Dragon Slayer the Legend of Heroes is that it's constantly like breaking the fourth wall, and it's like there's like a part where the guy's literally like, yeah, you can't come in here until you're level 6. It's like a voice acted line.
Like just so you know.
I
That's really
can't
funny.
like one of the first one of the first, or if not the first party member that you get. He's like, look, man, I'm like the most powerful wizard in town. I can't be seen hanging out with people who are under level 2. So you have to go grind, and then you come back when you're level 2, and he'll join your party.
That's hilarious.
I know, dude. It's stuff like that
I
like
like that.
it took a game that I feel like would have been like not a bad game, but like
Kinda
a middle of the
mid-tier.
road, mediocre, like retro
A solid
JRPG.
2 out of 3.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
just elevated the shit out of it because it was like so many little things like that.
I see there was a Rock Band game released for the PSP. Did you know that?
Yeah, so there was and it had, I think the DS did this as well, but maybe
Did it
not.
have the little plug-in?
It had a plug-in that plugged into the USB, and you would push the things up here to play the
that's how it worked on the DS or the 3DS or whatever it was.
Because I remember, there was one on there.
Yeah.
Another game I just remembered that was a weird kind of gimmick game. It was called Invisimals. Okay. And it was when they started coming out, because like the DSi I think was out at this point.
Okay.
And they started coming out with augmented reality
AR games. Okay.
Yes. And so you would get like the little camera that you would plug into here. And it was kind of like a Pokemon Go before Pokemon Go was a thing. Like you would have, the Invisimal is on my desk, and then you'd like battle it and like catch it, and yeah, it was fucking kind of cool.
That's a cool idea. I like that.
I think there was two invisible games. It's hard to fucking say it. But yeah, I remember hearing about that.
I also saw that there's a Hot Shots game. You can't have a Sony system without a Hot Shots Golf.
Hot Shots Golf, yeah.
Right. And they're releasing a new Hot Shots Golf for PS5. I think they announced that.
I think it's on like everything though.
It's across the board.
PlayStation.
I love, so I'm a sucker for Hot Shots Golf, right? Like I'm not a huge golf fan by any means at all, but there's just something about those like little Hot Shots, like the chibi model kind of thing.
Yeah. I hope they add like characters, because I remember one of the ones on the PS3 anyways, you could play as like Kratos, and
I think it was Hot Shots 3.
Yeah,
that's
I think
the one that I have, and it was really good. It's because it's just fun. It's one of those like you just kind of, it was stupid and fun, right? Outside of that, I mean, those are kind of the biggest games, right? The pretty much across the board, the #1 rated game was God of War: Chains of Olympus, with the Grand Theft Auto and then Peace Walker as like switching spots basically, and then Lumens, which is really weird for a puzzles game to be that high in the rankings for a game system.
Yeah, but remember the game, they were trying for that Tetris moment, you know what I mean? Like the Game Boy had that. I feel like with a handheld, like with a portable, you need to have like
you gotta have a good puzzle game. Yeah, I can get behind that. I was just looking up the sales numbers for the PSP. By the end of its lifespan, they had sold 76.4 million units.
That's crazy.
Is a lot more than I thought that it was gonna have, because the DS had, and I'm gonna have to look this up now. The Nintendo
DS had a lot.
It had a lot. The Nintendo was the de facto portable game system,
Yeah, but the
right?
PSP was like a heavy contender with
It
the
was a
DS.
real heavy contender. I'm looking at, let's see here.
It was probably the only competition Nintendo ever had in the handheld market was the PSP.
By the end of March 2016, and let's see here, the PSP went to 2012, I think. Yeah. So the PSP only goes till 2012. The DS goes to 2016. They sold 154 million units. So
that's crazy.
I mean, like, yeah, that's like a lot, right? There's no real breakdown as to the sales numbers in line, like, because there's a 4-year gap there, so that the last 4 years, however many it was that they sold there, but the PSP selling about half the amount the DS did is pretty impressive, considering, like I said, the Nintendo systems were the de facto portable system, right?
Exactly,
if you wanted a portable system, you got the Game Boy kind of thing, right? And the other systems were always kind of a little bit more gimmicky. And I don't think Sony ever really hit their portable numbers since the PSP. They've had successful portables, but never as good as the PSP was.
No. So I know that, like, we're not going to be doing an episode, obviously, on the PSP Go or the Vita, because neither of us have really played the Vita at all.
And the PSP Go was not great.
Dude, the PSP Go was awful. So I had a friend that had a PSP Go, and I remember I was like, can I try it? Like, the killer there was it removed the disk drive, right?
Away.
So you couldn't play UMDs on it. So even if you had, the worst part was, like, the whole idea was that now you can take your PSP on the go, but it's like you always fucking could. That was the point of the whole goddamn thing.
The one thing I liked about the PSP Go was the slide.
But why? What's the point of it?
No, not that it was, like, useful. It was just really cool, and it was on point in the time, because I don't even remember the phone, like the kick flip phones.
The slide phones.
Everything slid and moved around and stuff. And when you slid that PSP Go, it had that smooth and then a snap. It snapped into spot. That was really cool. The rest of it was terrible.
But it was pointless.
It was completely pointless. Pointless. I think the screen was bigger. But with that being said, too, the PSP Go I had read here was only $50 cheaper than buying a PS3.
Yeah,
it was expensive. Yes, like, crazy. So
it was shit.
No,
it was not good.
And then the Vita was good, but not great.
So the thing with the Vita, here's why I didn't get a Vita. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the Vita actually has a lot of really fucking good games.
Sure.
It's got a ton of great, like, JRPGs and just, like, awesome games. The problem with the Vita is the same reason you were mad that Crisis Core was on the PSP and didn't come to the PS2 is what killed the Vita, because all the great JRPGs that were on the Vita were also on the PlayStation 4, right? So there was no reason to buy a Vita unless you're always playing portable, which like at that point in my life, I was mostly playing at home, right?
Yeah, on the
console. So I got a 3DS because guess what? You can't play A Link Between Worlds on your Wii. You can't play Pokemon fucking Sun and Moon on the Wii. You know what I mean? Like, so there was no reason to get a Vita. There was one Uncharted game that I wanted on it, and that's the only game. Like Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, like, that's a fucking good game. It was on the Vita. Like, there's a lot of really, really good top tier JRPGs that were on the Vita, but why am I going to play them there if I could just play them on my PS4
and have a better experience? Yeah, I mean, there's a place for portable consoles, but if you're not Nintendo, then you're having a hard time, because that was the thing. And by this point, then the Switch is out, and the Switch is blurring the lines between portable and console, right?
And the other thing is like, I think the Vita did really, really well in Japan, because in Japan, they do a lot of, like, commuting to work, right?
For sure.
Here we drive everywhere, right? So you can't play video games while you're driving.
If you're sitting on the train for 4 hours, you need something to do. Put it on the steering wheel, right?
Yeah.
I did like, see, the thing with the Vita, I liked the sticks felt good on the Vita.
Yeah, it would have been a good console,
Yeah.
but it was they put a lot of great games on it, but there was not a lot of good exclusives.
No,
And that's what kind of killed it, honestly.
that's what took it out.
Nowadays, something like the Vita might do well because that's a lot of people have the Steam Deck to basically play the same games they would play on their computer, right?
Yeah. Well,
that's basically what the
Steam,
Vita was.
Yeah, the Steam Deck shines because you can use your Steam library. So, the one thing that
that's the other thing, right? You're not having to rebuy, but I mean,
you rebuy your games.
I think if they released a new, and I think they've been talking about it.
Yeah.
If PlayStation released a new Vita or PSP and you had full access to every PS4 and PS5 game that you owned, or even just PS4 game that you owned, plus portable centric games, like exclusive ones too, I think it would do really well because you would have your entire now you got your PS4 library on the go. You got maybe some PS5 games, a bunch of like indie games and stuff, like download only ones.
Yeah,
I think I think it would do really well, especially nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And then there is the Portal, right? The Portal is a great idea until you're away from your home network, right?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, I don't think you can play. Dude, speaking of which, another thing you could do on your PSP was like control your PS3.
That's really cool. The PSP set the standard for quite a few things, right? Like,
yes,
it's crazy.
And I remember, so I don't know if you could play PS3 games. Like, I know you could, but I remember watching South Park on my running it on my PS3 and watching it on my PSP.
That's really cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, lots of really cool stuff.
And then Hideo Kojima, the guy that did like the Metal Gear games, he created something called transfarring, and it meant I could play.
So it's got to be something special, right?
Yeah, it was transferring. Like a weird name.
Transfarring.
I could play like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker on my PSP, and then I could send that exact save game to continue the game on the PS3 version of Peace Walker. Yeah,
that's cool.
So that was a nice feature too. So I could be at work or wherever, right, playing the game, and then I continue my save file when I get home on the TV.
Which
was cool.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. If I ever found, I always said if I ever found a PSP like at a garage sale or for cheap, that I would pick it up because it is something that I always wanted to play. I did want to play Crisis Core.
Yeah.
Was Dirge of Cerberus also on PSP?
No, Dirge of Cerberus was PS2, and it was absolute fucking garbage. Yeah. Do not play it.
Yeah,
the first like 2 levels are fine
because it's like a first-person shooter, right?
It's a third-person shooter with really bad what like a Japanese JRPG developer would try to make controls.
They're like, and we need some money. Release the game.
Dude, the controls are fine for like the first 2 levels because they're not like super like crazy deep, like in depth or anything, right? They're pretty basic levels, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you've got levels that are like 3D platforming stages with fucking droves of enemies. You have to fight a fucking helicopter. Like it's ridiculous. There's like boss fights and shit, and like the engine just buckles under that, right? Like you can't. Hilarious. The game wasn't meant. The engine that you like, the controls, I guess I should say, were not meant or good enough to be able to sustain something like that.
Right.
They were good enough. If the whole game was stages like the first 2 stages, it would have been like fine. It would have been a short, kind of crappy game, but it wouldn't have been like a fucking disaster to try and play.
Unreal. And it still sold like a lot of copies, right? It ended up in Sony's gold category of top selling video games. Which is anything from 500,000 to 1 million units.
Yeah, so, but I mean, Final Fantasy was still at its peak at that
Final
time,
Fantasy
right?
7, man. Like,
and then you put that little Final Fantasy 7 sticker on there, and it's gold.
It's rated. Its combined score on Metacritic is 57 out of 100.
Yeah, it's fucking garbage.
That's
dude.
Terrible.
57 is being very nice.
It's being generous. Well, that's the Final Fantasy 7 sticker, is what that is. Yeah.
That Final Fantasy 7 sticker takes it from like a 37 to a 57.
Yeah, Crisis Core made me want the PSP. That was the game that I was like, I gotta get one. And I was a broke college student.
Could you imagine if you got it back then? How like you would have loved, like, you like Crisis Core now, but you would have fucking loved
I would have
it.
really enjoyed it quite a bit. I was a broke college student, so I couldn't afford it. And that's how I didn't. But I always said if I ever found a PSP in the wild that I would pick it up as long as it was reasonably priced. Although I don't think that's ever going to happen again. They're probably unreasonably priced now because that's just how retro gaming is.
They're super durable. Like, I remember, dude, this thing fell out of my locker at work probably 500 times, and all the like pieces would just fly off, but you just snap them back on and you're good to go.
Classic.
Dude, it used to blow up all the time.
That's hilarious.
But talk about a console that was super ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And just like, like in every single way. Like, you can, hold on. I don't know if you can see the scuffs on it.
I don't know, but you can see a few. Yeah.
And that was from it hitting the floor, man, so many times. But it was like right out of the gate, graphically, I was so impressed immediately, right? The nice thing is, like, even if you ever find one in the wild that's like a dirt cheap, is that they're so easy to hack too, right? Like, I'm not kidding, man. Like,
for your homebrew games, not for taking any. If you don't own the game, you don't put them on
for
there.
Fucking Genesis. Like, I used to play like Sonic 2 on here. I had a Game Boy Advance emulator. I had a fucking Genesis, NES. Played, dude, Bucky O'Hare. I played so much Bucky O'Hare on this. A lot of
Bucky.
But like, even like our buddy Paul, like today was like, hey, what's a good
That's right. He was
handheld?
Talking about
dude,
a retro
buy
handheld.
a fucking used PSP and hack it because by the way, if you've made it this far into the episode and you have a PSP, obligatory check your battery, because if you have the original battery, the odds are your house is on fire right now. Because this was like, remember those lithium ion batteries, those early ones? Yes, it would expand and explode and light on fire. So thankfully, I'm actually going to check mine right now, but thankfully I have an aftermarket one because there's two ways. You can hack your PSP, or you can really hack your PSP. And if you want to really hack it, you got to get, like, it's called the Pandora battery, and then you can do anything with this bad boy. But without that, even you can emulate quite a bit.
Sure.
I think it was like you can't emulate PSP games unless you have the Pandora battery. But if you have the Pandora, you can also just emulate PSP.
Not that you're emulating PSP games.
But I played me a lot of Crisis Core, you know what I'm saying?
Completely legally. With totally. The UMD. Yeah. You lost the case, though.
Everything's legal if you don't get caught. Talk about terrible design, though, the UMD. But I kind of understand, because if you're bringing these on the go, and they didn't have this protective layer around the disc, like the discs probably would have got broken. I mean, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a big crack on the casing. That would have been my disc if I didn't have it. If it wasn't in this.
I don't know. I always looked at the UMDs and thought it was a dumb idea, but I get it. But the thing was that the Nintendo consoles were swapped over to their cards. Yeah. And even the Vita used a game card.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And I was always wondering why the PSP chose to go with a UMD instead of a card. And it makes sense because they wanted the multimedia experience, right? Yes. So they wanted you to have the DVD kind of concept on the thing. When you hold it against the Nintendo DS, it's no wonder why it was such a competitor. No, because it is wildly ahead of the time.
It basically used like GameCube discs, right? Because I remember the GameCube had those small discs too.
Well, because it made the DS look like a kid's toy. Right?
This is a baby's toy.
It really did, because you look at the games for the DS at that point in time versus the games for the PSP in that point in time. It's night quite impressive what they were able to do.
One thing that always like felt weird though, like when you have you ever seen the inside?
Only once, yeah.
So this is like I remember like not knowing what way to even put the fucking thing in, right? But you got to go
the
corner side up, right?
Yeah.
But it's just like it's just like flippy floppy in there, right? Until you close it, then it locks it shut. I always found that to be kind of weird, right?
That's a little strange. I mean,
yeah.
it's reminiscent of a cassette deck kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it really does give me like that Sony Walkman vibe, right? Like that old school Sony Walkman vibe.
Yeah, I dig that. Yeah. It's a really cool piece of technology. I when the little bit that I used that device, it was terrible. That joystick was just awful.
The nub.
Not only is it awful, but it's in a bad place. So it's already like it's incredibly sensitive because there's not a lot of movement there, and it's just in a bad spot. It didn't feel comfortable to hold it like this, right?
Well, you had to hold it wrists up, like
and I don't like I hold my stuff wrists out.
Especially handhelds, right? Normally it would be like this.
Yeah.
But the thing, and I remember like my wrists getting sore. Actually, now that you mention it,
that's carpal tunnel, baby.
But I remember like some games, because you didn't have the R2 and L2, some games you would use the D-pad as your camera.
Sure.
Then you're using the nub to move, and you're using the top part of your thumb.
And I remember the guy who was using it, he was telling me, he's like, you use this part of your thumb for the joystick. I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you use that, for the nub, and then the tip of your thumb for the D-pad.
Yeah.
Another good couple games on the PSP.
Yeah.
Was they made, I think, 2 Battlefront games, Star Wars Battlefront games.
Okay.
And they were fucking good. The way they played was a little bit different. You would lock on to the enemy. So because you couldn't, there's no way you can do a first person shooter without the 2 sticks, as far as I'm concerned, right?
Right.
So how it would work, you'd be like walking around, and then you would see like a stormtrooper, and you would like hit circle or whatever, and it would lock on, and then you'd like strafe attack, and like, and it was good. And they were like spin-offs. I think there was one for the Rebel side spin-off, and then there was one for the if you were like the stormtroopers, and it was like a story, a whole campaign. It was really good.
I like the idea that those are just like, they're fun, right? Like you're not doing it to like be the best of anything. It's just a fun play, right?
And then they also had, I don't know if it was I think it was a prequel to the Resistance games, like Resistance Fall of Man. They did a prequel to the Resistance games on the PSP. Speaking of PSP though, like if you don't find one in the wild, like PSP, similar to like the PS2, you can emulate the PSP and make it look real good now.
Okay.
Like, there's really good, like the PSP emulator has been really good for a very, very long time.
For homebrew and
for
games that you own
only. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. We do not endorse stealing at all.
Totally.
Don't do that.
Don't steal 80-year-old games, guys. You're gonna make these companies go broke.
Not the multi-million-dollar corporations. I mean, PSP, growing up with it, I mean, I grew up adjacent to it. It was a really good system for what it was, but man, I'm glad that I finally got to play Crisis Core. I'm previous DG, young DG, was really upset that he couldn't play Crisis Core, because I was and still am a very large Final Fantasy VII fan. And I always just felt like every time that they made a remake or a sequel or a change to the game, that it couldn't possibly live up to the actual game. And spoiler alert, the later games is what it is. But with Crisis Core, they did a very good job. And to the point where I still want to play the actual PSP version of it because of the voice changes and the changes that they made with the remake, right? Did
they bring Crisis Core to PC yet?
I don't think so.
Because you could bet your ass that'll be the first mod that gets released.
You know what? It's possible. Why don't we? I'm just gonna do a little checkaroo here.
The thing is, so how did you like the cutscenes? Because guess what? The cutscenes were literally just directly from the PSP.
Ripped straight out of the PSP. They're great. I gotta tell you, I don't think there was a single part of Crisis Core that I disliked other than Zach's voice.
Yeah, well, the only thing I remember disliking was there's like one stealth mission, I think.
Oh yeah, there's one where you have to like snipe robots in a field, and that was awful. That was an awful experience. I wish they would have cut that completely, but I just assumed it was in the original game. So it is on PC, Canadian $66. Don't pay $66 for it. Wait until it's on sale. Let's see here.
Know for a fact, because it's literally just the PSP game with
100%.
With cleaned up graphics, and I think they improved the whatever the spinny thingy in the top corner. What is it called?
The DMV.
Yeah, they improved that a little bit. They improved the attacks and all that. So the script and everything is exactly the same. So you could literally just swap in the voice actors for like you know what I mean? It would be so easy to just mod that in there. And that would immediately fix like all the issues you pretty much have with the game. We want Lance Bass as Sephiroth, damn it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it can definitely be modded in, but there's 100. I searched for Zach's voice in the community pages. There's 183 entries that are talking about how they don't like Zach's voice.
Yeah, well, it just didn't suit him as a character.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Like, Zach's not a prepubescent kind of teen, like 20-year-old voice guy.
Yeah,
I always in my head when playing Final Fantasy VII assumed Zach was like the 30-year-old soldier who like is the younger of the soldiers that are in the fleet, but definitely would have had more of a Steve Blum voice kind of thing, right?
Oh,
He would have had that voice that kind of talks slow like this, like kind of like what Angeal's voice sounded like.
Right.
Zach's would have been very similar to it, in my opinion. Right.
See, I think to me the PSP one was perfect to me. Like,
I never heard
he
the
sounds
PSP
young,
one, so I'm gonna have to check.
He sounds young still, but he doesn't sound like he's there to party.
Yeah, well, that's like, exactly it. Like he's like Zach speaking, like he
sounds young and like timid in the new one.
Yeah,
whereas in the old one, he sounds young and like confident, kind of.
Yeah, not the greatest casting they could have done, but I mean, it is what it is. I don't mean to make it seem like it took away from the experience by any means.
Yeah.
You get used to it real quick, and you're moving on, right? But
yeah.
The game was phenomenal. The game was absolutely phenomenal.
It was really good.
Yeah, for sure.
The only good Final Fantasy VII sequel, like really.
I mean, the
like spin-off sequel. I don't know
what they've done so far has not blown me away. I enjoyed Crisis Core more than I enjoyed Remake and Rebirth.
Yeah.
And I don't have enough faith into the third one that
What about Advent Children? Did you like Advent Children?
I need to rewatch it because I watched it when it came out, and I had the same experience with Advent Children that I did with Spirits Within, which there's a lot going on in that movie where you're kind of like, what's happening, right? Who is that guy? Where did that come from?
It's almost like they had like an actual like video game length script.
Yeah.
And like, fuck, we got to fit this in an hour and a half.
And they cut so much that it didn't make a lot of sense. Now, with that being said, I can't remember when it came out. It would have been like the late 2000s ish.
Yeah, right? It would have been right around Crisis Core, either right before or right after Crisis Core came out.
I do need to go back and watch it again just so that I can put it to bed, but I didn't like it. No. Where I'm at right now, I don't like that movie, but I haven't seen it in about 20 years. So
yeah. It was like you said, it was hard to follow.
Yeah.
And then it was like so boring. Like the pacing was really weird.
Strange.
It was like all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, they're flying. That's the other thing I hate about like the modern, I say modern as in everything after the original Final Fantasy VII, really.
Yeah.
Is like they're flying around.
It's always way extra.
Yes.
Right? I don't want superheroes. Give me normal guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Normal guy.
And then the argument will always be like, yeah, but in the live stream, but he was like flying, like using the live stream to fly.
Yeah. And he's not flying. It's supposed to be... Well, here we go. He's not flying. everything in that game. And so the thing that people really forget is that Final Fantasy VII was released on the PS1. The PS1 has technology limitations the same way that the JRPGs for the NES had. So when Cloud is flying in the live stream, it's to represent that his mind, his like consciousness, his essence, the thing that makes him him, is coming together. It's him flying in or out of. He's not physically actually flying.
Exactly.
Right? It's all done to exaggerate the thing. And I think that if they would have remade the game, like Final Fantasy 16 came and went. Let's say 7 never existed and 7's story was 16.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be the flying. He would just ran up and stabbed, right?
Yeah.
Like all of those moments are there to exaggerate those moments. And it's that anime vibe too.
Yeah.
That's kind of in there as well. I think people look at that stuff way too literally. Like they're like, nope, he did this, so that's what happened. And it's like, no, use your mind a little bit here. They're trying to express to you, this is the thing that's happening, not physically happening, but to get you to understand that these pieces are slapping together to create one.
But even like at the end of Final Fantasy VII, when it's like the 1v1 showdown, right, in the live stream or whatever,
sure,
it makes sense that his body can flow around like that in the live stream.
Sure,
it does not make sense for him to fly around in Midgar, swinging his sword around like a lightsaber.
There's just too much. I like I said, Cloud's just a guy with a sword. Right?
Yeah.
Like
with a little bit of performance enhancing drugs.
That's right. Yes. Barrett's a guy with a gun for a hand, right? Like
Cloud is basically like if you took Captain America and like steampunked him, basically, right?
Like I always looked at the Final Fantasy VII ending the same way that all of the Final Fantasies up to that point had ended, right? Final Fantasy VI, when you're fighting Kefka in the clouds. Is your party flying while they're fighting Kefka in the clouds? No. It's for dramatic effect, right?
It's for dramatic effect, and how are you going to see the top half of Kefka and X-Men otherwise?
Right? Like it's not literal. It's just to.
I want them to do now. I want them to do a remake of Final Fantasy V in like today's graphics, and they kill the base, and then they're literally climbing X-Death to fight him at the top.
Exactly. Yeah,
that would have been cool.
You know,
fucking tree.
Current day Phoenix would have them literally like Superman flying.
Oh yeah,
like, right?
And
like
Star Wars Episode 1 lightsaber flicking around.
It's like, no, it's there to exaggerate and bring you into the moment to make you feel like this epic thing is finally coming to a close.
Yeah,
you're not in the clouds. That it's just to help you get a gravity of the situation that you're in. Right?
Yeah. Well, even Final Fantasy IV, right? When you're fighting Zero,
they're all that way, right? Like the final bosses, they're all that way. Final Fantasy 1, when you're at the end of that one too, it's the same thing. It's just there's technology limitations, and every iteration they push it a little bit more because they're trying to really bring you in. The Final Fantasy lives and dies on the story. If they hook you with the story, you're plugged in and you're playing that to the very end. Yeah. Right. And the way that they can hook you with the story is literally the story or the environment itself. Yeah. Right. It's like the ending, no spoilers, but the ending of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where all the things are happening and there's explosions and all the stuff. And then all of a sudden it goes from crazy to and it stops. Yeah. Like, those are the moments that get you just like, and you're just caught in it, right? So to me, that's the way that I look at Final Fantasy VII. It has technology restrictions, just like every other game before it did too. Yeah, you can't look at it literally, right? A lot of people are like, "Oh, Cloud's a terrible character because who knows who he just stole someone's personality," and it's like that's not. Cloud's character is flawed, and that's the best part about Cloud. He's actually a very average, run-of-the-mill soldier. He wasn't good enough. He didn't cut the mustard to make Soldier First Class. Right. He was a grunt. He was an infantry, but he got slapped in a tube and got turned into a Hojo experiment.
My problem with Cloud is you don't really know who the fuck Cloud is. Like
100%. And again, I think that's technology restrictions. I think that they did.
I think if they would have played Cloud, like Dragon Quest does it all the time, where you are the hero, right? I think if they would have played Cloud like that, but you can't do that really.
Yeah, you can't.
Fantasy.
I don't see
outside of like 1 and 3 where you make your own characters, right?
I like all the I like the characters in Final Fantasy 7. I won't say I like all of the characters. Kate
I was gonna say who don't you like, and then I was like, oh yeah, Kate Sith exists.
So Kate Sith or Kate She or however you want to say it. However you want to pronounce it, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was fantastic. Whoever did the voice acting for Kate in Rebirth, they stole the show. He was perfect in my opinion.
Simon Pegg.
Was it really? Because it's that Scottish accent, man. And then Kate and Yuffie in Final Fantasy VII, not huge fans of the characters. Like I didn't like their movesets, and I didn't like the characters themselves. Vincent, I liked the character. I hated the way he played.
I liked Vincent, but it was like I was still in that edgelord. You know when you're like that age and that time period too, right?
Vincent's character is really cool because he was at one point like head Turk guy. He was the son, right? And then things happen and he's like, nah, I'm gonna go live in a box. Bye. Right?
He's like, Hojo fucked my wife or something.
I'm out of here.
I can't deal with this.
Right? I like the characters of 7. I like what they did with Cloud. I understand the complexities that exist within his character, and is there flaws there? Yeah. Oh yeah. Is he the best Final Fantasy character of all time? No, not even close. No. But I think a lot of people write Cloud off because of how confusing it is until you get mid to end of disc 2. Because by the time that you re-enter Midgar in disc 2, now you're seeing the real Cloud, right?
Yeah.
Because up to that point, and what they wanted to do is they wanted you to also not know who the hell Cloud is, because he's introduced
because he doesn't either.
Yeah, he has no clue. Yeah. He's just going with whatever. And then when you remember that and you play Rebirth, all of a sudden you can see what they were trying to do. And I was saying this at the end of my playthrough with Rebirth. Is they're making it confusing on purpose because they want you to be also confused. We're not talking the ending, simply just talking about Cloud.
Dude,
and the way that Cloud
is bad.
and like there's moments where Cloud is like full on murderer, right? And I was saying when I was streaming this game, I can see what they're trying to do, but if they would stop trying so hard, this would have been a lot better. Because what they were trying to do was make sure that even the people who played the game were also surprised. Yeah. And you can't surprise somebody with that, right? You can rewrite the ending, I guess, but now it's not the same game anymore. So if you have to pick a lane, and
that's the biggest problem, I think. Yeah, is they never
didn't pick a lane. They for whatever reason chose to drive straight down the middle, and they actually made it bad for now both new people and old fans.
Yeah.
So that is, it's like as you're playing, you can if you remember all of that stuff, you're like, okay, I see why they're leaning on this so hard, right? Yeah. They're leaning on Sephiroth so hard because they need you to. They really want to throw him in your face to be like, look, Sephiroth's a bad guy. But in my opinion, Sephiroth is the worst kind of bad guy when you only see him maybe 4 times during the game.
Yeah.
Right. And then those 4 times you do see him, he's up to some heinous crap. Right.
And it's a big deal too, right?
But when you see him every 15 minutes, it just completely numbs you to it, right?
Well, it's like if you were gonna if you watch like to me, Final Fantasy VII, at least especially like in the beginning half, I want to say, or at least up till when Aerith dies,
end of disc 1.
Yeah, Sephiroth is almost treated like a slasher villain.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Because you get to the top of the Shinra tower or whatever, like the Shinra building, I don't know what, like where and there's just fucking like blood scraped across the floor and shit.
In Hojo's lab. Yep.
He's you see his wake more than you see him, and that's what makes him
it's the fear of the unknown, because you're like, who the hell is this guy, right?
Yeah.
That is exactly what I'm talking about, because in Rebirth and in Remake, they're throwing him in your face. They're like, oh, look, it's Sephiroth. Sephiroth's the bad guy. And he's like, hello, Cloud, I'm the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like the entire time.
Hello, Cloud, I'm the bad guy.
Dude, the entire time. That's exactly it.
I know.
And
that's the vibe.
And the worst part is you fight him at the end of Remake, right? You have the one-winged angel fight. Then you fight him again at the end of Rebirth. Now you're going to fight him again at the end of 3 when you're supposed to actually fight him.
It won't feel the same. Yeah.
It's not only that it won't feel the same, it's that they've ramped it so high that like the Rebirth fight was already annoying. There was like 8 to 9 phases.
Yeah.
Right? There's no way that they're going to let off the gas pedal in the next one. Right.
Yeah.
And so you're already dealing with a complicated combat system. You're already dealing with having to literally switch characters the entire time. You're already dealing with having to do all the side quests to get the materia and the items and all the other stuff. And then when you finally get to that fight, and I was watching another streamer do it, right? Rumpus from Arcalis, right? He gets to the end fight. He has no clue what he's up against. I'm in chat and I'm like, dude, go to the, there's a vending machine. That's the other thing that was dumb. The vending machine concept. Stupid. Because there's a vending machine in the lost city that no one knows about. There's the vending machine, right? I wanted to be like, go to the vending machine. You're not going to survive this fight. But you don't want to spoil it for them either. Yeah. So he gets through, no joke, an hour and 20 minutes he's in this fight. He gets to the final phase and he can't win because he's out of healing. He's out of MP. He's out of magic. He doesn't have any equipment, and the showdown fight happens. Yeah. And then he's just frustrated, and you cannot win. You're unprepared. You cannot win at this point. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Fuck. So there's a lot that they could have done if they would have just stopped trying so hard. And that's really all that they would have had to do is if they would have just, I mean, obviously if they would have given us the game they promised us to begin with. Fine. Yeah. But if
there's just so much like, look over here, look at this. And remember this, do this. Holy, that's it.
Constantly trying to surprise you as a old fan. But the only way they can do that is by changing things. And when they change things, they make it awful. Like what they did to Sid, that's a travesty.
Yeah, he ain't in that game.
No, the Sid that's in that game, I've been calling him Dad Sid.
It feels like you're playing like a modded game where it's like Sid wasn't in this game, but if you download this skin on this, you can put it on this character.
It's a fan fiction, dude. Sid is Dad Sid. He's like, "Hello, children. Would you like an airplane ride? Because I, the best pilot for Shinra that started the airplane company, would like to drive you there."
Yeah, it's really not. It's so bad, and that's like the only 2 characters I like in fucking Final Fantasy VII are Sid and Tifa, and they pretty much.
Tifa's good. Them. I think Tifa's fine in Rebirth. Yeah. She did.
Barrett's way better in Remake than he was in the original because I didn't like Barrett in the original.
Barrett's great, and they did him so dirty in those. We have to have a Final Fantasy VII. I think we have to have a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth stream because I said to Arcalis when he was playing, I said, this game is all about 90-10. They get 90% of the way there, and they screw up the 10%. Every big moment.
And it's always the big, I was going to say, it's always the big moment.
Every single big moment in this game, it's like, oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Oh, here we go. Every moment, every big moment in that game, they cannot ever stick the landing. Not one time did they stick the landing at all, right? They come close. Temple of the Ancients was probably the closest they got to sticking the landing. And even then they screwed it up at the end of it. It's just, there's just too much of it.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
but it's just they want to keep the dial at 10 at all times, right?
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with 5 moments, right? Some of the good stuff with the backstory on the cities, to get it was kind of dumb. You had to go and find those Mako fountains, right? Oh. But when you did that, and like, let's say you're around Corel, so you find these fountains, but what it does is it gives you backstory of Corel when you do that. So now you've got a lot of history.
Nice, at least.
Yeah, like it's that stuff. I really liked that.
Yeah.
Where I had to chase a chicken from one side of the city to the other to get it back into its coop.
That sounds like something Cloud, Strife, and the Avalanche gang 100%. Would do.
They're like, hey, what was that? The reactor's exploding and Sephiroth is trying to blow up the world? Sure, ma'am, I'll help you with your chicken.
Yeah.
And it's
so
the chicken jumps and he's like
are so bad for that too, because like I remember when Red Dead Redemption came out and it was like he's like this hardened convict that just got out of jail and you're constantly helping people like rope horses and like helping old ladies like fix their fences and shit, and it's like it's just so funny. Like there's so many memes of that. I remember there
was in Rebirth the chicken quest. So there was 3 that were the most egregious. The chicken quest was the worst. The next worst was for the made up character for the Chocobo Ranch. You had to go and pick specific flowers on the other side of the region to build a flower crown for her.
Oh my god!
Like you had to do that.
Isn't there one where you have to like protect some guy's like cabbage field or something, or onion field from like wolves or something?
That's a thing too. That one wasn't even that bad. Oh. The other one in Gungaga, you have to go and pick Gungaga mushrooms. And I'm not kidding. Everything's a mini game in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So when you find the mushroom, it cuts to a pulling the mushroom mini game out.
No,
where you have to use a joystick
to work it out of the ground.
No, like I'm like, what are we doing here? What is going on? And meanwhile, Sephiroth's flying around the multiverse above the head.
Flying around the multiverse.
And we're like, 1 second. Just hang on. Come on, mushroom. Come on. Go away, chicken. Come on, mushroom. I'll get you, Sephiroth. Just gotta get this mushroom first. Like, dude, it was the dumbest. Some of that stuff is the dumbest. They could have cut the mini games by 50%, and it still would have been too many.
Yeah.
Right? Queen's Blood was great. I don't know if you played Queen's Blood or if you saw it.
No. I haven't played Rebirth at all. I've just I watched Soldier play it.
For the memes, you should check it out. You could get through it in 40 hours. Like you could blow through it. You could
don't have less than zero interest in that.
I'll lend you my
You couldn't pay me to play it. I mean, you could, but it would be a lot of money. If somebody gives me $1,000,
we should do a donation goal, dude. That I might actually put that to the Discord and it will make you hate play it.
If somebody gives me $1,000, $2,000. $2,000, I'll play Rebirth.
The Queen's Blood was a lot of fun. That was, I gotta say, I like the card games that Square comes up with are usually pretty decent for the most part. Not always. Sometimes
they blow it and like they have the good idea and then kind of wreck it.
Queen's Blood was really fun because you could get all the cards relatively easily. The concept of the game was fun. There was a lot of different ways you could win at it. And if you're stuck with Queen's Blood, there's guides online that are like, go do these quests, get these cards, build this deck, play it this way.
Yeah.
And
I remember Soldier said he really liked it. He really liked it.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Queen's Blood.
The only mini game I have any interest in, and I've watched people stream it, but I don't know. They never really described how it feels and how it is the dolphin mini game. Does it kind of feel like Wave Race or no?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's Wave Racer.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's the dumbest thing, dude. It's a perfect example of how dumb that game is.
But what isn't it fun though? The Wave Race. I mean,
all the mini games are fun when you look at them that way, right? It's not like it's like, oh, I hate this while you're driving a dolphin through hoops through the water. But it's just like, why? Right? Like this could have been a cutscene. And I said that regularly. This could have been a cutscene. Because in the original Final Fantasy VII, there was a mini game for the dolphin. You had to jump, but what you needed to do was Mr. Dolphin had to get Cloud onto the platform.
Yeah, and it was the worst camera fucking angle too. So to line that up was the worst.
I still miss that on a regular basis. I've played through that hundreds of times at this point. That was fun. The part that was awful about the dolphin. So you do the dolphin thing, and away you go, and then he jumps you up onto the platform. And you're like, okay, great. So I'm going to climb up there and these guys will take the elevator, right? Because the elevator is there, right? The elevator is there, but it's hidden. It's behind like a crowd, like a riot that's taking place. So you can't get to it. And I'm like, okay, well, the riot will disperse. They'll find their way up the elevator. Nope. Cloud gets up onto the platform and then lowers a boat into the water for the party
like
to get
crane?
to. Yeah. Okay. So you would think that when I get to the platform and I just go boop, that the boat would go down, the party would
jump on,
and then I would go and we would meet up later. No, you literally have to hold the joystick to bring the boat down.
Oh my god.
And then when the boat gets to the ground and the party gets on, you gotta hold the joystick up to make the boat go back up again.
Weird.
Everything's a mini game.
Like, why? It's padding is all it is.
It's what it is. It's 100%. There's no reason that has to exist. That could have been cutscene. And the reason why they padded, I have no clue. I did all the side quests. I didn't stream them all, but I did it all. Right? It took me 99 hours to complete that game.
Holy fuck, Kate! That's $9,000 for me to fucking play that game.
But again, keep in mind, I did everything, right? You wouldn't. It's 40 hours, you'd be done, because that's what Arcalis did. I think his completion time was like 39 hours or 41. He skipped all the stuff. In fact, he didn't even skip all of the things. He could have skipped more. Right.
Okay.
But the thing is that
2000. We're back to 2000.
There is no reason to pad out the lowering and the raising of the boat in a 99-hour game. That's stupid. That's the stupidest thing ever. They should have aimed for 40, and anything above that was great.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway.
Brutal. But anyways, guys, thanks for listening and or watching our podcast.
Yes.
If you guys grew up with the PSP, let us know when you got it, what games you got for it, what some of your favorite PSP games are.
Was it your favorite 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah. And let us know, what are your favorite Final Fantasy VII spin-offs? What are your least favorite? What do you think of the remake multiverse of multiplicity? And what do you think of did you guys like Crisis Core? We both really enjoyed Crisis Core. Yeah. But thanks so much for watching or listening. If you prefer to listen to these, be sure to check them out on Spotify. And then you can kind of listen to them on the way to work or wherever you're driving. But if you'd rather watch it, be sure to check it out on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Dookie03. You can check out myself on I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dookie03, as well as the YouTube channel, of course. And then DG, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me over at same areas as well, twitch.tv/DG online and youtube.com/@dadgamingonline. We're trying to grow that YouTube channel, so make sure you come hang out with us. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.
See you on the next one.